Happy President's Day, and I hope you had a wonderful Valentine's Day weekend. Wow, we get a lot of holidays all bunched together, don't we? And, you know, I'm glad there's President's Day. I thought that had gone away. We got Columbus Day. We got President's Day. I like any day that you can celebrate. I'm all about celebration. Not much to celebrate this weekend for Tigers basketball, that is for sure. A trip that started on was it Wednesday to Denton? Yeah. Wednesday to Denton. Thursday game. Failure to finish. Major discrepancy in free throws. Tigers can't figure out a way to defend without fouling. 41 free throws. My gosh. That was disastrous. And then you get on an airplane and you go to this idyllic, beautiful area, Logan, Utah. About an hour from Salt Lake City, about 50 minutes from where we landed in Ogden, Utah, in the middle of the Wasatch National Forest in the Cache Valley. Beaver Mountain, just a little bit away. Gorgeous place. Have you ever been to Logan, Utah, Landon Schmidt?
Never been to Utah.
Never been to Utah. Wow. Everybody knows about Salt Lake City, Park City. I think the first ski area there, which was the first ski area out west that I ever skied, Alta, with the Baldy chutes and the powder. But I didn't really know that much about north of Salt Lake, which is the Ogden and Logan area. And Logan, a town of about 50,000, really just beautiful. And the school's big, too. I think it was 30-some thousand students. And one of the best college basketball atmospheres that I can remember. Now, it's a bit mean-spirited, to be totally honest. They were just brutal on poor Sincere Parker. I know that guy wants... First of all, I got to say this. And I'm not getting into the case or anything of that nature. But I'm just going to say, if you ever talk to Sincere Parker, ever have conversations with Sincere Parker, certainly as an adult to a younger person, a guy that is about as polite and respectful as Sincere Parker, you would just wonder how in the world this could have ever been pointed at him, the incident and the process that he is going through. But, and man, has he ever now focused and become a real scorer. He's averaging like 23 points the last 4 games now. And he did that against a really good team. I mean, they just couldn't stop him for a period of time there. But this place, this arena, Spectrum, on this very pretty campus, holds 10,270. And there was 10,000 there. They may have been missing 270 seats. And they striped it out, and they have all those students, right? So those students show up to games. They're like at least half of the audience. They're loud, they're raucous, they're sometimes obnoxious. I think that they influence a game. I think that the Aggies feed off this crowd, and they were spectacularly good against Memphis. Man, when they want to score and they up the pace and they really run the ball, they release after a ball is stolen, or they release after a defensive rebound, and you better be back or it's just a nanosecond and it's over. They are that quick, that good. They average 18 assists. I think they had 22 in the Memphis game. That was impressive. Memphis was in that game. The Tigers were hanging around. It was like 8 lead changes, 4 ties, might have even been more than that in the first half. In fact, I'll double check because I got it right here. Because it's the last 4 minutes of the first half that really ends the game. There were 12 lead changes and 4 ties in the first half of the game. So you're talking a 17-4 run to end the first half, which gives Utah State a 14-point halftime lead. Now, the Tigers never recovered from that. That was literally the end of the game. But for the first 16 minutes, this game was back and forth. This has been the problem for the University of Memphis the whole year. Going into that game, they had 12 losses. Hard to believe. They're 12-13. I can't remember after 25 games the last time a University of Memphis team was under 500 after 25 games. I can't remember it. I'd have to go back and really look. I know it wasn't even during the Tubby era, because I don't believe any Tubby team was under 500. What got Tubby in the end was lack of recruiting and apathy with fans, and he got them all angry when he said these weren't like the old days, that they couldn't recruit here. And then Penny, of course, came up with the number one recruiting class in the country. However, back to this team. In 7 of their 12 losses, the Tigers have had a lead with under 8 minutes to go. They either turn the ball over, they don't execute the play correctly, they foul, and they send the team to the free throw line. This is the worst fouling college basketball team I think I've ever seen. I think they average like 21 fouls per game. They put teams on the line 8-9 minutes to go and a half. I watch Penny in shoot-arounds direct people talking about staying in your area, keeping your hands straight up. Do not jump into the particular play. Don't reach. Get your feet in front. Anyway, just very frustrating to watch. They can't finish. This started early in the season. They had plenty of opportunities. They had a chance to, in my mind, beat Purdue. Had they not had a technical call and honestly lost their mind after that. They really gave Purdue a heck of a game. Now, Purdue's not quite the team we thought they were going to have. We'll be talking about the top teams with Mike DeCourcy from the Sporting News, our only guest today. We will do that in our next segment. But they just can't figure out a way to close games. They kill themselves. They shoot themselves in the foot. They're not mentally tough. Best way I can put it, and I don't know how that's going to change between now and look, everything is still set up, but that's the amazing thing. If you look at the American standings, man, FAU should have beaten USF yesterday. The Tigers would have been a half a game out of first place. As it is, they're a game and a half out of first, and there's only one team that's only got 3 losses. There's a couple with 4, and then the rest have 5, and Memphis is one of those. Memphis is going to play USF twice. They still have their own fate in their own hands. But how can you believe suddenly they're going to get mentally tough? They certainly got prepared to play against a good team because they played against a really good team at the Utah State. I suspect Utah State, which had been ranked 11 of the 13 polls by the AP, will end up getting ranked at some point again this year. I think they're a ranked team. Now, they're going to win the NCAA? No, they don't really get any good big. Their leading rebounder is an anomaly. He's a 6'4" kid who was a high school football quarterback that could have played college football. He may be a little older. A lot of these kids go on Mormon missions, and then they come back after their mission, so they're older, and they have 4 years of eligibility. But, here it is. It's all set up. The Tigers actually have a chance to still get one of those double buys or triple buys. I don't think they will, if I'm going to be point blank honest. But it's still all set up for them. But they got to start winning. And it's going to begin in Tampa, and I imagine there'll be 7 to 8 point underdogs in that game, maybe more. Because they're down now, and I know most people want to talk about what happened. It's a national story on ESPN.com. In the college basketball section, that Hakeem and Davis, that's Hassan Abdul Hakim and Zach Davis, were suspended indefinitely from the team. I have no idea the length of the suspension, my guess is when you bother to send in the middle of a trip 2 guys home, they're probably not coming back. Hakeem hadn't played, I'm going to say, in at least the last 6-7 games. Hakeem suddenly got sick, like for the second time this year. Didn't see anybody. The Tigers apparently had talked to him, but not even the trainer or the team doctors had checked on, had the ability, or he didn't give them the availability to check on his health. Then suddenly he's back on the team, and he's on this trip, which surprised me, but he hadn't played. During a shoot-around, he's just sitting there watching. And I could understand how Penny was saying, okay, you were an issue. You are a heck of a player. He compared him to Draymond Green, for goodness sake. We're going to make you pay a pittance, and when you can contribute to the team, and you do it in practice, and you're a good citizen and not a disruption, I'll end up putting you back in the game. When that became pretty evident, and he was a disruption, not a teammate, along with Zach Davis, they said, Andre Turner, get these guys. Here's commercial plane tickets. We want you to accompany him. And they sent him home. Zach Davis did play in that game, scored 10 points. He had missed a couple of games. He hadn't played since he botched up the defense in the Tulane game on Rowan Brambaugh. And Penny'd had enough. I don't know the incident. I don't know what the violation of team rules was, but I know he sent him home. And frankly, I'd be shocked if they played again. So you're actually down 3 players for this trip because Quante Berry did not make the trip with concussion protocol. He ran into a screen in practice, head to a shoulder, I'm told, and they were worried about concussion protocol. And on the safe side, I got a feeling he'll be back for South Florida, but being on the safe side with the health of the player, they said, you're going to stay home. Now, they had no idea they were going to be sending 2 guys back in the middle of the trip. So they were down three guys for this final leg of the trip. And I'm sure that played a role in some of this, but Utah State's just better than Memphis. That goes back to the construction of the team. That now will go back to all of this discussion about general managers. Drew Hill wrote the story. I know Greg and Eli were talking about it. We're going to talk about the role of general managers and how they are now going to take a place in the game with Mike DeCourcy when we chat with him in just about 8 minutes or so. Very, very tough weekend for the Tigers. There is still a chance to salvage it. Penny's going to have to be a miracle worker to do it. We'll see. The schedule gets a little more favorable after the game with USF on the road. That could be their 3rd loss in a row. They were hoping to pick up their 3rd 3-game winning streak in Denton. And that one was there for the taking. They just, again, weren't tough down the stretch. Too much fouling. And so we'll have to sit here and wait and see how it all plays out. But at this point, you'd have to go, this is going to be one of those years. Penny's going to have to regroup. Could be a GM that has to come in. We'll have to wait and see on all of that. In the meantime, the NBA All-Star Weekend was interesting. I think Adam Silver got exactly what he'd wanted. Competition. So they play 4 12-minute games. They break it up into 3 teams. Young Americans, old Americans, and the world. I love the idea of the world. I thought that was a great concept because I felt like there would be more team pride. And I think even young and old, there was team pride. I think for the most part, it was a success. I'm not sure NBA All-Star Weekend was. I really didn't see much of the crowd because there wasn't much of a crowd apparently. But like the up and comers, the risers, whatever they call that particular game, the slam dunk contest, the 3-point shooting contest, I don't think that those were well attended. Now, I read somewhere what was too much corporate, not enough for the fans. I'm not sure of that. But I do know that those things seem tiresome. And you're up against the Olympics, and you're up against a lot of stuff. Golf is back. Honestly, I don't know if they're going to rethink that or not, but I applaud Adam Silver for trying to find ways to make the All-Star game better, and I think they did. I think they competed. The last game, again, young Americans versus old Americans, was the only one that was a blowout. Maybe they got tired. I know Kawhi might have been tired because when he played his second game, I think, he had 31 points in 12 minutes. Now, that's pretty impressive. 31 points in 12 minutes, and he did it at home. Anthony Edwards was the MVP. Nice trophy they gave for the MVP. He was surprised, and I really appreciated the fact that he tipped his cap to Victor Wembanyama, who he said set the tone that they wanted to compete. That's all you want. You want the best guys in the world to really play, not put on a show offensively and shoot from half court. Show us what it really means, like the old days, like the Michael Jordan era, where it really mattered. And if you were the MVP, you really earned it. Landon Schmidt, different generation. Your thoughts about what they did at the All-Star game. Did you enjoy it? Did you watch much of the weekend?
No, I didn't watch a lot of the weekend. I caught a lot of the highlights, though, and I saw there was an overwhelming disappointment with the dunk contest. How the dunk contest used to be really, really great, how people were getting super creative, and then I saw a video of a guy who literally just jumped up and dunked it with one hand, and everybody was asking what happened to this competition. So that has gone down the drain. But I think taking what hockey did with the Team USA versus the Worlds, you had the 4 nations when they did it and saw how successful that was. I think, basketball trying to do their own spin on it was not a bad idea, but I do give huge props to Victor Wembanyama, who really set the stage. And after the games, he said, we're going out there and we're trying to compete and trying to go out there and play hard, trying to represent where we came from. So I think there is that element to it. So I was very appreciative to see that aspect of it. But overall, I still didn't make it a point of emphasis to go out and really catch it. I just saw the highlights of it.
So that's your generation, a highlight generation, by the way.
We are very much a highlight generation.
That's why
Gotta
newspapers.
love highlights.
That's why newspapers went out of business. You can watch the highlights on your phone.
Mm-hmm. Good music, short videos. That's all you need.
There you go. If you're not watching, trouble. They gotta rethink that. Yeah, even Matt McClung, who's only known for one thing, it's dunking, who's won those things. He didn't even want to come.
Yeah.
And then Damian Lillard won the 3-point shooting contest he can't play this year because he's got an Achilles.
I believe so.
And he wins the All-Star thing like 3 times now in a row.
I think so.
I think that's a couple of other guys, Hodge and maybe guy played for Miami, the 3-point shooter. I'm trying to remember. The greatest 3-point shooter of all time, I think by numbers. He won the shooting contest 3 times too. So Lillard's going to try to break the record probably next year. I not all for me. All right, I got to get to the Olympics before we take our break. I love the hockey. I hate that the Americans are the number 2 seed because they just kept beating people 5-0, 5-1, and then Canada decided to run it up on France so they could get the number 1 seed. I think to avoid Sweden, that's got an all NHL roster. The Americans will have to play Sweden, America, Canada 1-2. Canada's 1, America 2, because of the goal differential. They were both 3-0 in group play. They both get buys. The Americans are going to have to play probably Sweden with the big roster, so they got the raw end of the deal there. But I think this American team is capable of winning the whole thing. And they play hard. They really pass the puck. They had a good goaltender last night. I know there was worry about him from his first game performance. And then the second guy I don't think they have faith in. But looks to me like that's going to be fun. That America and Canada will get to the final, and that should be an unbelievable shootout. You know, much like we thought the women, because the women had won over Canada so easily. America and Canada had played in the gold medal game the Olympics before, and Canada had beaten them. So I don't know, we could sweep gold in hockey. That part, to me, a lot of fun. This is just me. I go to USA because there's always something on there. I'm okay with a little bit of curling, especially if there's a controversy and somebody says, you cheated, you touched the stone on the stone, not on the handle, that was a double touch, and I never did. Video shows you did, Mr. Canadian. I don't mind that somewhat, but to me, there's too much curling. Find something else. Now, the bobsledding, I watched a lot of the skeleton and the luge, which I'd love to do. Wouldn't you love to do that?
It does look like
you don't have to go 100, but just get on there, go 40. Just to go, oh my gosh, that looks like so much fun. I would, even in my advanced age, I would really pay for someone to let me go on one of those things.
It'd be fun.
Oh, I would love to.
And to say you're trying an Olympic event.
Yeah, there you go. Did you know about the coach of the bobsledding? I got to thank Jeff Calkins for this. I didn't realize this. But there is a kid that played football for Bartlett. He actually played football for Southern Illinois University, my alma mater. And then when he graduated, he was, just a really good athlete, but nothing to do. And they heard about these tryouts for the Olympic team. They were looking for big, strong athletes that could, run fast, not too much weight, and push a sled. And he won a silver medal in the 2002 Winter Olympics. Now he's the coach of the bobsledding team. And there's a sense that they will get a medal. So he would end up with two medals, one as a player, a slider. I don't know what they call a bobsledder. And then one as a coach. So we'll keep our eye on that as it all unfolds. And then, last thing, this is sad. Tsunami, the restaurant, with the best sea bass. Like, I am not a total big fish eater. I like seafood better than I like just fish. But there are some fish dishes that are really, really good. I like fried. Everything good is fried. I love the fried catfish at Soulfish, for one. I think that's the best catfish. They get a free plug. But Tsunami had the best fish dish I have ever had. It is the sea bass that is made in a buttery sauce on this black rice that is unlike any other fish dish or sea bass that I have ever had. Ben Smith is the owner, and he was the original chef. He came up with this recipe. Personally, I think that's what made the restaurant, and a lot of people think that's what really rejuvenated and made Cooper Young, Tsunami. Once they announced it was closing, he had a tsunami of calls, including my wife. We tried like the heck to get in one more time. Can't get in. Can't get in. But I want to tip my cap to Ben Smith. What a run. I think it was 28 years in that location. And, man, I'm going to miss that fish dish. I am going to so badly miss the sea bass at Tsunami. We take the break, sitting in the Family Leisure Studios. Don't forget that floor model sale still going on at I-40 and Whidden Road. They got to move things to make room, so they're giving you deep discounts on over 100 display models, the in-stock hot tubs, swim spas, cold plunges. If you've been dreaming about a spa, now is the time to get to I-40 and Whidden Road and go see those wonderful people and I mean wonderful people, at I-40 and Whidden Road at Family Leisure. And this portion of the show is also brought to you by Southern Security. Southern Security is a not-for-profit. You know that by now. So that means, quite honestly, they can do things that nobody else can. They can give you rates no other bank can. And they got 7 locations now. And so if you're not getting the lowest possible rate on your mortgage, I urge you, check in with Southern Security because they offer those low rates. They've got flexible terms, no PMI, always this great service. So you can refinance that current mortgage if you're not getting the best, and I check with them just by calling. You can talk to a human being at 901-452-7900 or do it the new way. Go to southernsecurity.org. Southern Security is your home team credit union, federally insured by NCUA. Mike DeCourcy, the man from the Sporting News, on college basketball, and he comes your way next.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hey everybody, the best deal on that new Chevy Silverado you want is right here in Olive Branch at All-Star Chevrolet. You will love financing as low as 1.9. So go big with the Silverado HD 2500 and get 3.9 and no payments for 90 days. Same with the new 2026 Equinox, 3.9 and no payment for 90 days. And your good credit deserves it. Military and first responders, you get an extra $500 bonus. And if you want a certified, barely driven Chevy, All-Star is spot on. Come and check out this huge, and I mean huge, selection of certified Chevys and the hottest pre-owns you will find in the same place anywhere, period. Suburbans, Tahoes, Traverse with the third row seat, and yes, Silverados. If you have any vehicle you want to sell, bring it here to All-Star Chevy in Olive Branch and get the most money for it today. Together, let's drive. Olive Branch is where all the Chevys are and where all the deals are. Come down to All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch or go to allstarautogroup.com.
It's often said that eggs are nature's perfect food. They're good and good for you. So why not have the perfect food cooked the perfect way by Sunrise? Sunrise on Jefferson and Sunrise East on Poplar specialize in not only cooking eggs perfectly, but cooking them perfectly any way you want, fast, fresh, and just for you. Be honest, a lot of the time you really crave a breakfast made by people who really know what they're doing and genuinely care about your experience. And that's something you'll always find at Sunrise.
Hi, folks. Bill Russell at Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers. And a couple of weeks ago, a gentleman came in and bought his wife a beautiful diamond bracelet for Valentine's Day. As I wrapped it up, he asked me, Bill, how long have we been doing this? Well, he and I both thought backward to when he bought his engagement ring for me in 1971, and we did the math. And the answer to the question was 55 years ago. Then we talked about some 24 years later when his son got married and Russell Brothers Jewelers had just the right ring for his bride. Then, this past Christmas, I had the pleasure of meeting his grandson and we found the perfect gift for his girlfriend. At Russell Brothers, we take great pride in the multi-generational families that we serve, and we are humbled by their loyalty. So how do we do it? Easy answer, folks, and one I'm proud of. Beauty, quality, value, and service. And we would love the opportunity to share them with you at Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers. Come see us at 4646 Poplar at Perkins.
Encore flavor, Corky's barbecue. We're cooking it up, down home way. Hickory smoke flavor like the good old days.
Hey y'all, Jimmy Stovall here with Corky's Barbecue. Catering is our specialty. Memphians have trusted Corky's to cater their events for 40 years because we make it easy for you and delicious for your guests. Whether it's 50 people or a crowd of thousands, our experienced team comes to your location, sets up, serves, and ensures everyone enjoys a Corky's all-you-can-eat barbecue buffet starting at only $7.99 per person. You can't beat it. With 40 years of experience, it's easy to see why customers choose Corky's time and time again for all of their catering needs. Visit Corky'sBBQ.com to book us for your next party.
Encore flavor, Corky's barbecue.
back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
We're headed to Pittsburgh in just a matter of moments. Mike DeCourcy will join us momentarily. He's brought to you by Cadillac of Memphis. That's Landers Cadillac of Memphis, where you've got to go look and see and be amazed by the new store. That's really what they did, the grand opening, and they took that old store on Poplar, just east of Sunrise. That beautiful place. They redid it. You know that by now. They had all these grand opening incredible prices. They still have some of those 2024 Escalades where you can save $20,000 until savings, brand new, just a little later model. You can get $20,000, I told you? Yeah, they're paying top dollar for trades, too. See how much you can save if you go with the Landers Easy Pass. You get that at CadillacofMemphis.com. The best new Cadillac models always sell fast, so I'd get there fast and make sure we tell them we sent you. That's Landers Cadillac of Memphis. You know, if it doesn't say Landers, you paid too much. The Cadillac of college basketball writers is Mike DeCourcy. He joins us now. I failed to mention this earlier when I was talking about the Tigers in Logan and that incredible atmosphere and everything else. I did think it was really classless of, one, the coach, and that's Jared Calhoun, and two, MJ Collins, particularly at the end, where they ran up the score. He made the comment that it's the way it is with mid-majors. You got to win by $1 billion if you want to be recognized and then get ranked. I just thought it was unsportsmanlike myself. I know, Mike DeCourcy, you wrote a bit about the run-up tactic that was used by Utah State in that thing. I mean, what's the difference if they win 92-75, which is really what the score should have been? They were clearly the better team, or 99-75, and with 2 seconds left, they slam dunk it when Memphis, just was standing there, not even trying to move. Give me your take on all of that, because I've seen split national opinion about that. Some go, well, stop them, and the others go, what's ever happened to sportsmanship? Your thoughts?
I'm kind of split myself. I've never been a fan of anger over running up the score. The coach who complains about that. I think you can be privately angry about it if you wish, and you can you can blow them by them in the handshake line, which I wish didn't exist anyway. You don't have to be sportsmanlike about it if you feel that was not sportsmanlike. But I will weigh down 100% on this crock about how you have to win by more points or you won't get in. So here's what bothers me. Okay, I've been doing this for 7 years now. 7 years I have been the Fox bracket analyst. Do you know how many coaches have called me to ask how the thing really works? Now, look, am I the only person out there doing it? I'm not. But there's Lenardi, and I know he does some things. Like Jerry Palm's been there for a long time, but I've been here for 7 years.
I would have to say you three are the ones that people point to the most. And part of that is not to belittle what you do at all, but it's the venue that you do it for, right? I mean, CBS for Palm, ESPN for Lenardi, and then you with Fox. I mean, your venue is a huge venue, and you guys are good at it.
But I've also done really well at it. I mean, I'm not saying that I might not finish 200th this year, but my track record to this point is top. I think I'm 29th on the 5-year average, and I was 12th a year ago. That's one of the best. It's the best mark in major media. Now, I'm only saying that for this to make this point. All these coaches who know how it works, so they have to do stuff like that. Do you think that any of them has ever called me to ask me if that really matters?
Zero, I would say.
Right? Year. I was 12th. Now, there will be coaches who do respect what I do that say, hey, what do we have to do to get to, if we want to play in D.C., what do we have to do? Who are we rooting against? What do we have to do? That sort of thing. There's a couple of those. I get one particular program calls every year. And I've had and one coach when he used to be involved in this, and his teams haven't been lately. But anyway, my point is that they think they know, but who are they finding this stuff out from? Because it's not true. it's been shown mathematically that a couple of buckets out of however many, like, okay, so if you average 80 points a game and you play 35 games, how many buckets is that? I mean, that's a lot. And so 2 more or 3 more buckets is not going to matter. It's not moving the needle even a little bit. I mean, even a little bit. So I there was another writer who I debated this with online who said, well, you add that up over the course of the season. I'm like, yeah, but that's not how it works because you don't get in these games all the time. You're either blowing out quad 4 teams and quad 3 teams in your bye games, or you're trying to survive to the end of a conference game and try to win and make sure that you play well. This only comes up 3-4 times a year, and those couple of baskets are not going to make a difference. So any coach that does this and tries to use that justification could have picked up a phone, and I could have told them, or Lenardi or Jerry or any of the others, any of the less profiled because they're not on major media, that are very good. There are some that are fantastic at it, that you can find them on their website and send them an email, and they don't bother because they think they know.
Well, let me just say this about Calhoun, honestly. I got to be honest, I thought the experience of going to Logan, Utah was fantastic. The people there, like we went to a couple of restaurants, which, by the way, were incredible. If you ever go there, I'll give you the recommendations. But the people there were actually thankful. Fans before the game coming up to us as the announcers, recognizing where we sat, thanking us for coming because they say they can't get people to come there because it's such a tough place to play. So if you're trying to get folks to come, and they got this home and home, and they're going to come to Memphis next year, but I would love to go back there. But you think Penny, if he's in charge, is going to go back there after that? No, he was really upset with Calhoun and with the player, MJ Collins, for that lack of sportsmanship at the end of the game, because I watched him say it to both those guys in the handshake line. So if you're trying to get people to come, of course you do everything to beat the heck out of them, but in the end you don't rub it in your face and then complain about people not coming there. If you want people to come there, you got to be at least decent with sportsmanship.
I would agree with that totally. I'm not saying that is a sportsmanlike move, especially if I didn't see the end of the game. I only heard the complaints after. But especially if, like, I've seen enough games to know when a team stops playing because you're figuring they're just going to dribble out the rest of the clock. We stop fouling so the game is over. It's basically the common college basketball sportsman approach. We stop fouling because it's wasting everybody's time. We're not going to catch up. You stop playing, even to the point where you might either heave it at the bucket just so you don't get a turnover attempt, or a turnover a charge to you if you're the player,
right?
Or you just go ahead and take the turnover because it's not going to change your life. And that's how it goes at the end of the vast majority of basketball games. If you're still playing and you're still if the losing coach is still fouling, then I'm still playing because you're the one that's in charge in a sense. If you're behind. If you still think that you can catch up and you're still fouling with 12 seconds left, and I know coaches who've done that, believe me, and they're down 20 or whatever, then I'm still playing. And I saw a similar circumstance develop like this with Juwan Howard a few years ago. He got mad with the fact that Wisconsin took a timeout to save themselves a 10 count, but he was still pressing. So why wouldn't they call the timeout? So you're the losing coach is kind of in charge there. But once the losing coach says, we're done, we realize we're not going to win, then for you to go and dunk that is absolutely bad sportsmanship if the trailing team has stopped to play.
Let me give you the background here. This was a great game. 12 lead changes, 4 ties until 4 minutes were left in the first half. They go on a 17-4 run, and they blow the game open. It's 14 points at the break. Memphis cuts it in the first 5 minutes to 8. They go on a run. It's like 18 points with 2 minutes or under that to go. Memphis is just playing it out. They've already conceded, and these guys just decided to keep fast breaking and scoring, and especially with 2 seconds left after Memphis just threw up a ball at the end of the shot clock, and they go down, and this guy M.J. Collins, windmill dunks it. Come on, that's how that played out.
No excuse for that.
No.
As I said, I don't think a coach does himself any favors by making a public thing out of it. But the private thing, I got no problem, because that isn't sportsmanship. That really isn't. To do that is very poor sportsmanship, because, again, once the defense has said we're not fouling anymore, the game's over, we realize that, then at that point it's absolutely beholden on the leading team to say, okay, we get it, we're done too. And then you just dribble it until, like I said, you have two choices. You either take the turnover or you take the missed shot attempt. And neither one of them's going to crush you, but whoever's in charge of the ball there has to make one of those two choices, and those are the only two acceptable choices.
All right, I want to talk to you a little bit about a new wrinkle. It's not that new, I guess. In a lot of areas, Memphis doesn't have one for basketball. There's a lot of discussion because of the frustration this year with this Memphis basketball team. And that is the role of a GM. Some schools have them, some do not. Some have had them for a while. They didn't even call them GMs, like Chris Willard, who is the right-hand man of Calipari at Arkansas. He was with him with Kentucky. Give me your sense of what a role of a GM is and how important that is going forward in today's basketball with NIL and portal.
It can be different at every program. In some programs, it has been primarily about the generation of the funds necessary to build a good roster. In some, it has been about using that spot particularly to look some at high school players, yes, but primarily to spend your time looking at players who might be available as transfers when you get to March. Let's say they're averaging 20 points a game in the Horizon League, and you think, okay, like, we got to look and see whether that can translate to our level in case that player decides that he wants to move up. And maybe and if you watch his tape and you think, hey, that guy can go, and you say to yourself, okay, and then you start making a few phone calls about, what kind of guy he is, what kind of teammate he is, and you don't want to go too far because you don't want to look like you're tampering, but you got to be ready because you only have a little bit of time. And that's why you see so many coaches now complaining about their teams because they didn't get a chance to really vet who they are, what kind of teammates they are, how invested are they in winning, how invested are they in the sport, do they live it and breathe it, and that sort of thing. And you get so much less time now with the portal guys to really figure that out. And when you find out that you made a couple of wrong calls, that changes your whole team because you only get 8-9 guys to play. So that's the role for a lot of teams, and it can be very helpful to have somebody who does a lot of that groundwork before you get to that period of time after the season. Or in some cases, I talked to Mark Pope last year during the week of the Sweet 16. They were getting ready to play Tennessee, and he had a ton of portal calls to make because the portal opened in the middle of the tournament last year. I think it waits till after the tournament this year, but just if you're a Final Four team, you still have to have somebody that's doing some of that groundwork.
Speaking of Final Fours, okay? Arizona, Michigan, Houston, Duke, Iowa State, UConn, those are the top 6. Do you see any other teams? Are we deeper than that could win a national championship this year?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say that you would right away have to include Illinois on that list. I don't think you mentioned them. I think that you would have to include Kansas on that list.
Really?
For sure. At Florida, did you mention Florida?
No,
they can.
I did not.
Yeah, absolutely can. Their margin for error is a little bit leaner. It's certainly leaner than it was a year ago because they had a better backcourt. But Xavier Lee, the transfer from the Ivy League, I think it was Princeton, is starting to play really well. And Boogie Fland is a talent who's starting to get command of the team. He's a little bit up and down, not a great shooter, so you have more ways to defend against him. But as Lee starts to play better, I mean, that front court's already a championship front court. Every one of the guys that they play, the first four guys in that front court all won the championship a year ago, and they all were massive contributors to it. So that team can definitely win it as well. So it's going to be a very compelling year because there is a separation between those 7 or 8 schools and pretty much everybody else. That's why you look at it, the top 7 teams had entered last week with with none of those top 7 teams in last week's rankings had more than 2 losses. That's because there is a separation between the very best teams and even the kinds of teams you'll see seeded 4 and 5 and 6.
So that's 9 teams that we've mentioned. Okay.
Okay.
So, and I believe that because I think it's going to be a really fun year. But I'm curious, in your past, and you've been doing this for a long, long time, not just the 7 years you've been doing bracketology. How is you're giving 9 teams a pretty good chance at winning the national title? Is that a good year, a great year, average year? That
is unusual, to be honest. And I think what makes it even more unusual is the idea that, it's going to, like 2 years ago, I mentioned NC State they didn't have a great offense, but Alabama didn't have a great defense.
Right.
But those teams made the Final Four. I don't think we're going to have those kind of teams there this year. I think the teams that could make the Final Four but not win it is a shorter list than it usually is too. Like I said, I don't think we're going to have any, wow, how did they get there kind of Final Four teams. Because you add in Michigan State, Purdue, Carolina, Nebraska, and Texas Tech, of course, they should probably even be on the list of teams that could win it because they've got the pros necessary. They're not as consistent. St. John's is another team that can get to the Final Four. But I don't think the list of teams that could get to the Final Four is as long as it is usually. Maybe I'll be wrong, but I don't see Virginia getting there or Clemson.
Yeah.
I don't see Arkansas. Like Arkansas's got a Final Four offense, but their defense, no. And so, can they do that in this? In most years, heck yeah, they could do it. But in this field, I have a hard time seeing. For them, I think that Elite Eight game is going to be like a Final Four game is for a team that has a bunch of good college players, or like in Arkansas's case, a great offense but a not good enough defense.
The only team that I would differ with you on in this, and I saw them up close and personal, Toppin and the guard that they have, they're 2 really good pieces at Texas Tech, but I don't see that team winning a national title.
Yeah, I don't. They would be like the very last. They'd be like, if we have 9 teams, they'd be like 9B. I don't think they have it, but they do have the pros and offensive and defensive. I think they're strong enough. One of the factors that I talk about is you have to be top 20-ish offense and defense, and they are. I mean, they're 14 offense, 26 defense, so they're right there in the neighborhood. But they're not a team that I would pick.
He's Mike DeCourcy. It's a joy to talk to him every Monday. We will do that again next week. Thank you, sir.
All right, thanks, Dave.
That is Mike DeCourcy from The Sporting News. He's brought to you in part by The Commissary. I'm talking Germantown. I'm talking Collierville. I know when you've talked, you've said, because you did this in the tournament thing they had in the commercial appeal last year, number 1 of everybody. 2 great places, the original in that quaint little area, I guess they call downtown Germantown. Then they built the one in Collierville. That's the Palace where every day, Monday through Friday, you can eat the buffet. You get 3 proteins. There's always going to be pork and chicken. You get 5 sides. You get salad. You get a drink. It's $15.95. Oh my goodness. What a deal. And you know how good it is. It's the best queue going. I love the pulled pork sandwich. I love the sauce. I love everything about it. I love the big joint. I love the small joint. You've got choice. You get something special when you go to the Germantown or the Collierville Commissary. We take the quick time out. When we come back, we got Medals, a shortened edition, coming your way in a moment.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Unlock your new go-to spot, Codes Dispensary in Steele, Missouri, just over an hour from Memphis. When you're ready for a legal, reliable option, they're right up the road. Explore the full menu of top-shelf products in-store and online. Short on time? Order ahead and cruise through the drive-thru for a quick pickup. Stack rewards while you stock up with Club Codes. Earn points for every dollar spent. Codes Dispensary, now open in Steele, Missouri. Supreme cannabis that's worth the drive. Learn more at codesdispensary.com. That's codesdispensary.com.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Welcome to Triumph Auto Sales, where you'll have a great car buying experience. Triumph Auto Sales is your #1 source of quality pre-owned vehicles ranging from lease returns to new car trades, all at huge savings. Plus, Triumph has a full array of financing options to meet your needs. Find your next car online at triumphautosales.com or stop in today at 4875 Elmore Road. Triumph Auto Sales will help you get the vehicle you want at the price you need and the service you deserve. For a great car and a great experience from a local and family-owned business, visit Triumph Auto Sales.
Progressive Insurance knows pets, and one of the biggest differences between people and pets is that we don't eat things off the floor. But dogs definitely will, and it makes them so happy, no matter what it looks like, smells like, or what state of decomposition it's in. We all want to go through life that carefree, and that's also why you should get Progressive Pet Insurance, because they eat things off the floor. So protect your pet from all the questionable life decisions they make. You know where they drink from when you're gone, right? Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Covered subject to policy terms and conditions.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
So many medals, so little time. Let's get to them very quickly. I'm going to give a bronze medal to Anthony Kim. He's the golfer from California. Had so much promise early. Everybody thought he was going to be a major player, winning majors, winning a lot of tournaments. Then he became addicted. Had alcohol and painkiller issues. Was out of the game for years. Tried to come back. Didn't make it. Then went to Live. And yesterday won the Live event. Quite the comeback for Anthony Kim. Speaking of comebacks, a bronze to Colin Morikawa. He won his first PGA Tour event in almost 3 years. He was 22 under at Pebble Beach. That is amazing, especially with the way the winds were howling on 18 on his last hole. He knew he had to have a birdie to win. A par would tie. He had to wait like 22 minutes because there was Jacob Bridgman was having a hellacious hole. Let's just say he hit it in the water, and then he just struggled. In the meantime, he had to wait 22 minutes, and then he hit an unbelievable shot, and he birdied the hole. So he wins, and what did he do after he won? He announced he and his wife are expecting their first child. What a way to make an announcement after you win for the first time in years. I got to give the silver medal to Victor Wembanyama. He's the guy that set the tone for the All-Star game being competitive again. I got to give a silver medal to USA Hockey. They tore apart a German team that had a couple of really good NHL players on it. Now they're the number 2 seed for the medal round. They will play probably Sweden. Canada beat the heck out of France 10-2, so they win goal differential. They were both 3-0. They'll avoid Sweden. I think that's why they wanted to run it up. So we'll have to wait and see on all of that. I've got 2 golds very quickly. One to Michael Jordan and his NASCAR driver, because he's the owner of the team, Tyler Reddick. They won the Daytona 500. It was just a couple of days before Michael Jordan's 63rd birthday. It's the first victory at Daytona for him or for Riddick. Riddick led only 1 lap in this thing, the last lap, to win it. So it was very dramatic. Congratulations to them. And then I give a gold medal to Adam Silver. It has nothing to do with anything from All-Star Weekend. It's the statement he made to his address of the league, the State of the League address. He said, relocation is not on the docket. It is not on the table. They're not relocating any teams. So, you know what that produced? Huge exhales in Memphis and in Portland, Oregon. Seattle, Las Vegas, those are going to expansion teams, ladies and gentlemen. There will be 32 teams sooner rather than later. But those markets are not open for relocation. No one's moving. Memphis is keeping their team.
That's exciting news to hear. Well, first, I'm going to give a bronze to North Dakota State, who is joining the Mountain West in FBS Division I. They had nothing left to prove in the FCS. From 2011 to 2024, they had won 10 national championships. I think if you're that dominant at that level, giving them the chance to move up and go into a conference like the Mountain West, who is just a mixing and melting pot of just so many different random teams right now.
You know what, though?
Should be really
they
exciting.
Draw so unbelievably well at that level.
They do.
I wonder, because they're not going to be able to dominate like that at the Mountain West level. They're just not.
No.
There's not the population base. So I wonder, you don't really make money at Division II, although they may have, because they had packed houses every time.
Oh, yeah.
Now they're going to have to spend all this money on more athletes, because you go from 65 scholarships to, what is it now? I forget what the total is, but it's like 100.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have to pay for that. They're going to have to pay NIL money to get some of the stars that they might normally would not have to pay. I got to see. I don't think they're going to make money on it.
I don't think so, too, but I think it's a great opportunity for them, so I'm excited to see where it goes. Another quick bronze, college baseball got started over this past week, and Manoa Magic over at Hawaii started off super, super incredible. It went 10 innings, but a bunt down the third base line, an overthrown ball led to a slide that got Hawaii the win over Gonzaga in their first win, 3-2, and a slide-in win for Hawaii to start off their year. Currently undefeated right now. You can only go undefeated if you start off 1-0, which is exactly what they have done. Silver medal, I'm giving it to men's and women's hockey, who are just completely dominating right now. Men's hockey is 3-0. Their most recent win over Germany, where they won 5-1, and women's hockey currently is playing Sweden in the semifinals, likely going to go on and play Canada next. And then I know we mentioned it a little bit, USA curling, both men's and women's alike. Men's curling is at 4-2, and women's curling just had a huge 4-1 comeback win against China, where they won 6-5. It is a lot of curling that's on the TV right now, but it's good stuff. Just some quick golds real quick. I give a gold to Tyler Reddick as well, who I wouldn't even consider leading in that last lap. It was like the final seconds of the last lap where there was a bunch of crashes and wrecks. It looked absolutely incredible. Big gold medal to Colin Morikawa, who just seems to have never been able to win one. And like you mentioned, been 3 years, but he finally got the win under his belt. And then Jordan Stolz, who wins gold for the Team USA in 500 meter men's speed skating. Got to give a huge shout out to him.
2 golds for him, and I think he's got another event still to come.
I think he does.
Yeah, that is great. One, Russ, real quick. That is to Utah State's MJ Collins and their coach Jared Calhoun for the lack of sportsmanship at the end of what was really a fun game to watch because of the atmosphere. Rubbing it in like that doesn't do you any favors when you try to schedule.
Yeah, not really a Russ for me, just kind of breaking news. The Dolphins have just now released Tyreek Hill, so he is now on the market. That saves the Dolphins $22.8 million, and I believe the Dolphins coming into this offseason were $16 million over their cap space.
So now
this really helps them out. So a very interesting moves. Kind of curious to see who picks them up going forward.
Those are our medals brought to you by Shell Dunn. You ever wonder where your doctor goes when he or she gets sick, or where does your dentist go when they got a toothache? Well, Shell Dunn is very proud when people like former agents contact him if they've retired over the years, or their former clients need help to sell their business. You know where they send them? To him. He's the guy. He knows everything there is about the selling business. He's been doing it so long, and he works it. He's got a plan, and he works the plan. Having a good reputation in the real estate business is really what it's all about, and that successful strategic marketing program that makes the difference in what you make and how long it takes you to get to the closing table. That's what he's famous for, getting you there quick and getting you your money. All you got to do is talk to him. That's what he says. Talk to 2 or 3. Just make sure he's one of them, and you'll get sold. You can call at 483-0546 or go to memphisrelocate.com. Do what other professionals have done. They call or they email Shell Dunn Rosengarten at memphisrelocate.com or 483-0546. That does it for us. Full show tomorrow. We'll see you then. Johnny Radio's next. Have a great day, everyone.